Guys, we just got into some Wahoo action. Stay tuned, there are some epic dives coming your way. Woo. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. We're getting out before the sunrise and we're hoping to go for some Wahoo. We got Spinny Dog rocking the contender and Scott's coming, Steph is coming, and we're gonna send it out on some deep wrecks. We're just gonna do a ton of drifts. Fingers crossed we come across something and I'll walk you through everything. So stay tuned and I will see you guys in the water.
What's up, guys?
Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Alright everyone, welcome underwater. If you're new to the channel, please do me a favor, subscribe, and if you're also new, I do a lot of these voiceovers, and I kind of walk you through my dives, explain everything that's going on, especially for you beginners out there. So this is extreme blue water diving, and we are in very, very deep depths. We're in probably around 100 to 150 feet deep, but we're not making drops that deep. We get close sometimes, but what you see in front of you now are called a flasher, and these are flashers that drape down. They're kind of like a teaser. They have mirrors on them, and you pull them and it kind of attracts fish. It gets fish curious to come up from the bottom and also from off in the distance. And another thing that we do is chum, and you see me doing it now. I grab a bag of sardines, and usually we have those attached to the float that the flashers are on, so it's all one system. And if you don't have anything like that, I highly suggest you get something like that. And it's good. It works really well, and whenever you're doing this offshore stuff, it does a great job of bringing fish in. And now the flashers kind of attract fish, and then the chum will also bring fish up from the bottom as well as put scent out in the water. If you're diving and if you're doing this, I do suggest if sharks do show up, either stop chumming or switch spots. But you can see what we're doing is we each have one of these big guns. I'm actually don't have a gun, or actually don't have a float attached to my gun. I have what we call is a reel, and you can see it there. If I shoot a fish, it will just start unspooling this reel I have, which isn't ideal for what we're after, but it's all we have. Spencer, who is coming up on that dive, he actually has a float line set up. So as long as you have one person with a float line set up, that is a very good thing.
A little black on the wreck. Tiny though.
Can you see the wreck? Are we on it?
Back there.
Yeah. That last drift that we did when we saw the Who's, it was a good drift. We were just southeast of it, and we just drifted perfectly right out over the...
We went a little bit too far this way.
Yeah, I would say we drifted perfectly over the deeper side of it.
It's what we did again, it's right there.
Yeah.
We're on the inside of it.
Okay.
So that was just us communicating, talking about how we're drifting. We saw a Wahoo on the drift before this, and those of you who don't know, a Wahoo is like an iconic game fish for Spearos. It's something that is very hard to land because they're very fast, very delicate skin. So any like extreme pressure you put on the fish, there's a high chance your shaft is going to rip out. I'm rocking a flopper shaft, which isn't ideal again. So a reel and flopper shaft isn't the best thing, but like I said, it's all I got. I just want to shoot the gun that I'm comfortable shooting. If you see my last video, I shot a gun that I wasn't comfortable using, and it was bad news. So on this next clip, some Wahoo came in. They came in, I got my GoPro going about probably 30 seconds after I saw the fish. I made a drop, I started following them. Scott ended up seeing him probably about this point, and he makes a drop. I don't see him at all, but I think I'm gonna take the shot, the closest shot I have, and I just grazed the fish. I looked up, had no idea Scott was there. He was a little ticked, and we exchanged some words at the surface.
I'm in front of you on a fish and you shoot from behind.
I was following him for like 35 seconds.
Dude, that's the kookiest shit in the world.
Dude, I was following for the longest time.
I'm in front of you with a flasher.
I looked at you and you were already at the surface when I already dropped.
So all in all, we were both pretty upset. Like I said, I would have probably, I definitely would have not taken the shot. I thought I was the only one within range. I thought, you know, I didn't see him at all. When I made the drop, he was actually looking the opposite direction because I looked at him to see if he was dropping, and he wasn't. And so I made the drop, and with these fish, you don't really have a whole lot of time to react because they're usually in and then they're out within seconds. So I'll do a little bit more explaining in the boat, but this is the first to many Wahoo encounters on this trip, so stay tuned. All right, you guys, that was an absolute heartbreaker. Wahoo came in. I saw him. I looked at Scott, saw that he was facing the other way. I knew if I would have like tried to get his attention, they would have already been gone. And sure enough, made a duck dive right there, and they kind of veered away. I just went to their level, leveled out, kind of coasted their direction. They were on their way out. Ended up stopping, heading like 90 degrees from them. They kind of turned, started kind of coming back in, and I ended up being like swimming parallel with them, and I was like, man, this is probably as close as they'll get. And I took a rip, and they were much bigger than I thought. And that blue water really, it's like does a weird game with you. And yeah, and it sucks because I looked up and Scott was definitely closer. If I would have seen him, I 100% would have backed off, but I did not see him at all. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure you can't even see him in the GoPro until after I shot. I was just so like locked in and focused on the shot. But yeah, that's what keeps me coming. Yeah, I'm gonna have redemption. One of these days, I'm gonna get some redemption, and I'm happy I missed. I'd much rather have a clean miss than a bad shot and a tear out, 100%. So I'm not absolutely torn, but lesson: if you think you're close enough to shoot, get a little closer and then shoot, 100%. So I didn't think it was possible, but another school of Wahoo came in. This guy comes just barely close enough, and then he does a little flicker and moves away. And at this point I realized, I was like, shoot, I'm like, they're kind of coming in, but I could see that they're standoffish. And I think to myself, I'm like, shoot, I had this giant gun pointed an extra probably 5 or 6 feet out towards them. I'm gonna pull it in, and I just tuck it in next to my body. So now I'm probably about 30 feet deep right now, and I'm just swimming almost as if I'm one of the Wahoo. I'm holding my breath as long as I can. I end up running out of air eventually. I was hoping they would kind of veer towards me, but I'm kind of just swimming with them. They're not super spooked, and they're just swimming up current. So I just start doing the same exact thing, trying to mimic what they're doing and hoping that they think that I'm not a threat. And this is a long, drawn-out battle, so keep watching.
Holy
So when I got to the surface, I saw that they kind of started veering a little closer, and then I get a little confident that I might be able to get a shot, so I make yet another drop here in a second. So again, I'm not really trying to look at them directly. I almost want to act like I'm not paying them attention. They kind of started coming my way, so that's when I made the drop, and sure enough, once I drop, they start veering away and going just that safe distance. But still, I'm being very persistent. I didn't have a whole lot of breathe up time, so this dive definitely isn't anywhere close to as long as it could be. But I come up to the surface again, and this time they actually come in. I see them starting to come in, so I quickly get up, gather myself, get a breath. They come literally right under me. I make the drop, gun is still tucked, and then I extend it and land the shot. So now I'm just gonna let this whole thing play out. I'll probably talk you through a little bit of it because some of it I'd like to explain.
Hold on! Keep it on here!
Alright, so you see it there. I really communicate to the driver. I don't want him this line is strung out probably at this point. probably 50 feet. And my goal...
He doesn't really know he's hit.
So I just said there, I said he doesn't even think he's hit, because normally these things absolutely scream your line out. But what I did was immediately when I shot, I started hauling butt in its direction. I wasn't too sure on the shot. I knew it was mid-body somewhere. I didn't know how good. So I just started booking it right towards the fish to put as little pressure on him as I can. I'm not going to touch the reel line at all. I'm just going to let it spool out. And then also what I did was I hooked up my belt reel to the back of the gun just in case the line runs out and I have to let my gun go. Hopefully, I'm kind of praying that Spencer catches up to me, because he was right behind me. He knows that I shot the Wahoo, and there he is. He comes up. He's hooking up his float line onto the back of my gun, and then right as I did that, I took off my belt reel because I didn't want my too many lines in the water. And then what I did is I tightened down on my reel, and I just let my gun go. And once I did that, I know he has a bungee that will kind of use as a shocker. It'll kind of be it'll basically almost like a fishing rod, and it'll pull when it needs to. But there you go. I let my gun go. I'm a little scared about it. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna keep up with my gun. That's gonna be my goal. I'm just gonna swim with the gun. But this ends up being probably like a 20-25 minute swim. I ended up shutting my GoPro off at one point. But you can see I'm just doing reach and pulls. I'm trying to catch up to the fish. Mainly because I want him to wear himself out. I want him to wear himself out, but not like too much. So I want him to get this sense that something is chasing him. And sure enough, it got the sense, and it just booked it right about now. You hear me jump, and my gun just books it right by me. Just takes off after the fish, and he does a couple of really, really long runs like this. And mind you, I am kicking with fins, full speed, and doing reach and pulls. So I'm moving, and this gun is just right next to me. So this is drawn out for quite some time. So I end up shutting my GoPro off, and then I turn it back on when the Wahoo makes a deep, deep dive. So he made a deep dive. So now he wasn't on the surface anymore. He took off on the surface. That's why everything was at the surface. Ends up going down really deep. He's probably, I would say probably 70 feet deep, 80 feet deep. I'm looking back. I'm seeing where the float is, seeing where the boat is.
Yeah, he's still on.
I don't even know what I said to the boat. So I just gibberish. I'm just freaking out. But I end up losing the gun. So the gun is no longer in sight. That's just the float line. And so what I decided to do, I was like, you know what? I need to start putting a little bit of tension on this. So I'm going to just let the float catch up to me, and I'm going to bring the line up. So at least I'll guide the fish up towards the surface. So that's what I'm doing. I'm waiting here. The line's kind of coming up closer, and that's what these float lines do. They actually float. That's why they're called float lines. And they're very easy to manage. So I end up giving it a minute. He kind of stopped pulling just a little bit. So I think it's probably safe to say at this point that his runs are pretty much over. And at this point, he's probably just kind of dangling down deep, which I don't like, because the area I'm at, there's a lot of sharks and there's a lot of Goliath grouper. Now, I don't think the Goliaths would mess with him, but the sharks definitely would. So now at this point, I'm grabbing the float line, and you want to kind of just, I'm not pulling it, but I'm just guiding it upwards to the surface, because all of it's so deep. Right there, you see my gun, and I probably have about 100 feet of reel line on my gun, and then probably like an extra 20 feet of shot line. So 120 feet of line out, and I believe that's a 100-foot float line. At this point, the line is almost straight up and down. I know the fish is deep. I don't want to horse him up, so I get Spencer to make a drop. I tell him like 2, I need a second shot badly. And he slowly, I think, makes a drop eventually. I don't know, he should pretty soon. But, oh yeah, at this point, I'm just pulling him up. I told him I need a second shot. So, and then in the meantime, I was just pulling. I finally got it to where I was straight up and down on the fish, pulling him up. And then he finally comes within view. And I don't even need to say anything. Spencer knows once he sees that fish, he can make a drop to 60, 70, 80, whatever it needs to be, fight off sharks, or whatever it is that could be after the fish, but he goes all the way down. I think he probably ends up going about 50 feet real quick and lands the final blow. And God, I'm still like, it's funny because you want to be excited, but I've seen so many crazy things happen that you don't celebrate until that fish is in your hands and you brain it and bleed it and it's yours. But we are absolutely stoked on this.
Is my GoPro on? Yes! Yes! Woo! Dude, I was swimming with them for like 10 minutes. Like I was like just parallel, like acting like I was part of the school.
Yeah, that's what you're doing, yeah.
I went up and then they came in right under me and I made a drop and I shot like mid-body straight down. And
that's awesome, man.
Holy crap.
Snake the first one, doesn't let me dive, shoots that one.
Yeah. Guys, I did it! Redemption, baby. Redemption. Total screw up earlier, but baby, got him. What an absolute beautiful fish. Really good team, buddy. Diamond, Spencer.
Yeah, dude.
Got that float on it. I wasn't rocking the float line, just the belt reel. I probably might have, it would have been tougher. I would have put more pressure on him with the belt reel,
yeah,
but that bungee was great too, because it was pulling.
Yeah, the bungee.
Oh my God, that was incredible. I was being ridiculously patient and like very stingy on the shot, because I probably could have taken a couple kips.
They were so calm.
Yeah, and I just stayed calm, and I literally came up to the surface, swam with them, went back down, swam with them, went back up, and on my way up, that was whenever they came in, and I just shot top down. He smoked my line out, but God, I'm so stoked. I am so stoked. What a fish. Oh my God. There we go, baby. This is what we're talking about. Woo! Yes. Beautiful, beautiful local wahoo. Love it. Yeah. We need a bigger yeti. Dude, he wraps up in the yeti.
Yeah?
Yeah. What happened here, y'all? Dude! Yes! Yes, Scotty boy! Woo! Yes! Yeah, boy!
Fucking puppy!
Twin boy! Twins! Love it!
Yeah, no wahoo meat for the year.
Yeah, not for the century. Yes! Atta boy! Yes! That's a good one,
It
dude.
didn't take long.
No, not very long. Hey,
I got a real one!
Fuck your ass.
No, it took you what,
Okay,
2
let's
minutes?
jump in, huh?
land him on the reel
Yeah,
again.
it's like clockwork, man. Jump in for 2 minutes.
Bro! Yes, Scotty boy! Scotty boy!
Shit, bro.
Yes! Hell yeah. Guys, doubled up, baby! Doubled up! Hey, just getting one is remarkable, but getting two in like 1 hour? Oh my God. Oh my God. Guys, we're just persistent. Steph was like, oh, I'm down to do another drop. One more drift.
Woke up early.
She was like, one more drift.
I know, right? I
Seth was like, oh, you know, I'll go with you. Scott and I were just chilling the boat. They saw wahoo, and then we got in. Instantly, I saw one. Oh my God. Dude, that is incredible. Holy smokes.
You got a shot?
Oh, dude.
Okay, I got 2 shots, yeah.
Dude.
It's out, so.
That is what we're talking about, Scotty boy, dude. On it.
Solo.
He was by himself. Nobody else is in the water yet. He freaking laced this
He knew.
guy. Oh my God.
Over here?
Oh, he was screaming, I need a float line.
a few more.
I need a float line. So we ran in and I just chucked him the float line. It was insane. That was madness. Absolute
When you finally
madness.
see it, I love his wave for a while, so you guys start
God.
panicking.
Oh, yeah, hold him up right there.
Hell yeah.
It's too heavy, I'll let it go.
This is how you get a 200 to 300 pound cooler off the boat.
It's not how you do it. There's gotta be a better way. What are you gonna do? How are we gonna lower it?
I think we go grab it like this and then hold it.
I don't know, man.
Just hold it on the side straight up. On the other.
Let's see if we can hold it with a string between ourselves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hold it up.
Well, take the fish out, put them on there, and then
All right, we're smart. We practically got it off the boat. That was dumb. We were gonna bring the whole cooler, but cleaning table's right there. Cooler's right there. What do you think would be the better choice? Let's just go one fish at a time. That's done.
that's a big one.
No, we'll do that one later. Let's keep it cooling. All right, guys, that was an incredible day on the water. We have something really special for you at the end of this episode, and it's something that we could do in the future. I don't know, but we have here Sabrina, and she has her own channel, and it is called
Sabri's Pantry.
Yeah, and she does really cool renditions of recipes and cooking. So I'll have her information below, but we're gonna have her do something really special with the Wahoos. It's like a Peruvian, Thai combined ceviche. So stay tuned, and I'm gonna actually switch it over to her style. It's really fast, so stay tuned. You're not gonna wanna miss this, and I'll check in with you guys after you see her rendition of cooking up this Wahoo.
Some problems, I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings,
This is what we're talking about.
The birdie is back.
Yes.
Birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. A phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Don't hang with a nigga who lying for nothing. I see that we different, you riding, I double. I don't do discussions on bragging about hundreds. Don't go to your places, I know that they sunken. Don't call me.
That is the final product. I hope you enjoyed that little kind of quick pace recipe detail. If you enjoy that, check out more of Sabri's Pantry, and like I said, the link will be in the description. And now let's get into this ceviche. Taste test time. Let's give it a shot.
Ready?
Nice little bite.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's so good.
That is really good. I want more of the juice.
Put more.
Oh yeah. That is awesome. All right, you guys, if you whoops. All right, you guys, if you enjoyed this kind of style, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Also, if you like this whole video, the Wahoo hunt and everything, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. Also, remember to hit that notification bell so you get notified anytime I drop some content. Like always, guys, I'll see you next week for another adventure. Thanks for watching. Later.